All right, so hi everyone. We're here today with Dr. Kranti, and she's going to share with us a little bit about what mental health means in motherhood. And so, Dr. Kranti, if you can please tell us a little bit about yourself and what motherhood means to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Kranti Vora. I am an obstetrician and gynecologist, and I've also done my master's in public health from Johns Hopkins University and a PhD in maternal and child health from University of Maryland College Park. Currently, I'm working as a faculty at Indian Institute of Public Health, Gandhinagar, and my work is mainly in women's health and of course health system and health policy and that kind of areas. That's about myself. What motherhood means to me. I remember when I held my firstborn in my lap, in my hand, that the joy that I felt and looking at her and that surprise or awe that I created something like that beautiful child was something which I had not felt even when I got my MD in obstetrics or my MPH from Johns Hopkins. So that feeling was wonderful. Despite being an obstetrician, just to hold your child in your arms was a very big thing and something, I cannot compare that joy with anything else. I know it sounds cliche, but that's how I really felt.
No, that's so touching. I'm tearing up over here. And it must have been a strange experience to have helped other individuals give birth and give that joy of life, but then experience the other side for you.
Yeah, it was completely a different experience. And I think, although I did not practice or I do not practice right now obstetrics, but I think I would have made a better obstetrician after having my daughter because I understood a lot, many things which I did not understand as an obstetrician. So
yeah,
I would have been better.
Those sound like things that can't really be taught, but I'm sure mothers across the world can relate to the feelings that you've described. All right, so just moving on, how did you begin your mental health journey? And later we're gonna touch on how that kind of changed or impacted your experience during motherhood.
My journey with mental health started when I had my second daughter. That was a very difficult pregnancy. I was in US, and at the end of my pregnancy or last stages of my pregnancy, I developed hypertension. And when I went to the hospital in emergency, at that time, my blood pressure was very high. I had reduced fetal movements. So my fear was that either of us or maybe both of us may not survive the experience of birth. Fortunately for both of us survived, although I took full dose Maxilf for my impending eclampsia, which in itself was a very harrowing experience. And I saw my child after 24 hours of birth because I myself was not in position to see my child. My blood pressure was really high. I was taking full dose Maxilf. That experience, although we both survived and by God's grace, both were fine and are fine, no issues with my second daughter, but I did develop a sort of post-traumatic syndrome sort of thing because of the experience that I had undergone. And at that time, with help of my husband and my family, I was able to overcome that. And maybe the fact that another human being was dependent on me kept me going at that point. So that's when it started, where counseling and talking to people, other people who had undergone similar experience, sort of helped me to overcome that uh, phase uh, of um, what do you call, mental health issues that I had. Since then, I have had some in between problems where either there was family related problem or everything else, where I felt I was completely at loss and I felt I needed help. I could go to a psychiatrist, and of course he was a friend, but still I could go to him and ask for help. And I could I I felt little what should I call, not ashamed, but I when somebody asked like, where are you going, I wouldn't say that I'm going to a psychiatrist. I would say I'm going to a doctor. uh, I was not able to um, say very clearly that I was needing some help to deal with my mental health issues. And despite being a public health person, despite knowing and understanding, I myself don't feel that people who are taking help for mental health issues have um, big issue. It's something to be stigmatized about, but I was little um, conscious, or I was hesitant to say that I was going to a psychiatrist. Am I talking too much?
No, no, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing all of that. And first of all, thank you for sharing the experience with your daughter and during pregnancy. I can't imagine, that must have been extraordinarily scary. Um, and yeah, I'm just so happy that you guys both found the help you needed and got through that. And then thank you for sharing your mental health journey. And sharing a little bit about how you've maybe felt a little bit stigmatized about that. And have you found that there are elements of being stigmatized about your mental health specifically during motherhood as well? Or is that kind of localized to you as an individual?
No, it does, because the expectation from you is that even if you are feeling um, not up to the mark, still you have to take care of the baby. So uh, whether you feel physically and mentally able to take care, the expectation is that you are a mother and you have to take care of the baby. Uh, to me personally, it helped to do what you have to do for the baby when I was going through, because that didn't give me a lot of time to feel depressed or have negative thoughts. And of course my husband was a very hands-on kind of, or he is still a very hands-on kind of dad. So whenever he felt that I was not up to it, he would chip in immediately and he would take care. So that sort of helped me to overcome that phase without feeling completely drained. But I'm sure there are mothers in India and elsewhere in the world who are expected to take care of baby, whether they themselves feel good about their own health, whether it's physical or mental, and which can have impact on long-term mental health and physical health.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure other people around the world can empathize with that and have experienced similar situations. And so you mentioned how counseling and psychiatry have helped you, as well as your support circle, including your husband. can you explain a little bit about what else has been helpful during that mental wellness journey for you? Whether that's like meditation or yoga or all the way to medications. Have you explored any of those areas to help you?
Well, I wouldn't say exactly meditation, but yeah, believing in God or the religion that I follow. So, prayers and, sitting quietly and thinking about that supreme power, or believing in something which is beyond your comprehension, has helped. Having that faith in karma, faith in religion did help. I did not go on medication at that time, but recently I've gone on medication because there was a huge health scare for my husband, and that kind of completely broke me down. And at that point, when I went to the psychiatrist, he offered that if you feel overwhelmed, why don't we start medication initial, and if you feel after 3 4 6 months, if you feel you're okay, we'll stop it, but maybe you should start it now because you feel overwhelmed, you feel I think there is a need for medication. So at that point we did start. Till then counseling and everything else was helping and I could overcome, but I think this latest kind of incidents that happened was something which completely overwhelmed me, and we started medication and that did help along with everything else. And we have started tapering because my counseling is almost over, and I'm doing I'm using different techniques to ensure that I don't feel overwhelmed, I don't have negative thoughts, and I can deal with situation in much calmer way than I could when after the incidents happened.
Thank you for sharing that. It sounds like you have a wonderful health team there, and they're really taking good care of you as well as you're taking good care of yourself. All right, so we're gonna talk a little bit more about the stigma that perhaps you felt and you kind of said you felt during your journey. And I just want to see your thoughts on how you might believe that our society or specific cultures that you live in can move past the stigma surrounding mental health, and maybe specifically during motherhood, to encourage that open dialogue about mental well-being.
Yeah, so there is huge stigma even in educated families and people. There is a stigma. So as soon as you say you're going to a psychiatrist or you're taking medicine for some mental health issues, then it's like you are mad or you are a crazy person who needs to go to a psychiatrist. The whole idea about counseling is something which is alien, and even counselor that I am going to or I've been to, they feel that people are not actually open with them. They don't know how to communicate their feelings and those kind of. So the openness that is required to heal in a mental health issue, that itself is lacking, because since you are a child, when you are a kid, you have been told that going to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a counselor is something that means something is wrong with you, you are crazy and you are off in your head. That's the thing. It becomes even more difficult for mothers and related to motherhood, especially in cultures like Indian culture or even Asian culture, generally Southeast Asian culture or Asian culture, where motherhood is revered. So the expectation is that each and every woman who becomes mother, she is ecstatic about being a mother. And as soon as she sees her child, all the love spills out, and she dedicates her life to the child, and like motherhood is like epitome of womanhood or whatever. So when a mother who's going through a physical issue, which could be postpartum hemorrhage or anything else, or mental health issue like postpartum depression or something, um, the society, the family, everyone else feels that why should a woman become depressed when she's a mother or she's a new mother? She should be very happy. She should be like top of the world and in heaven because she's a mother. She has a child. So nobody really kind of pays attention of if she is crying or if she is upset about something or she doesn't want to hold her child at some point where she's really feeling overwhelmed. It is taken as if you are not a good mother or you are not a good woman or whatever. So the societal beliefs, the stigma that is attached, inability to verbalize your feelings, inability to understand that there is something like postpartum depression, which can happen to any woman. Those are cultural or societal things, and there needs to be awareness about that. And there needs to be more dialogue about this. And I think that's the whole purpose of this interview that we are doing and other interviews that you are doing. But that needs to be done in societies such as India and Southeast Asian society. I don't know how it is in Western culture, but that's how it is in Indian culture and Southeast Asian culture.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Do you have any tips for anyone out there about how to foster that openness? Because ultimately that comes from within, and we can do all the interviews in the world. But if someone isn't ready to open up or willing to open up, that's another story. So do you have any tips about how someone can approach that within themselves?
Yeah, so first thing is the awareness or recognizing it. So rather than pushing it away, if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling weepy, if you are disinterested in things that you were interested in before. So those are some of the signs that things are not okay. And you need to approach a professional, not just a friend. Like talking to a friend does help, but you need to approach a professional. And nowadays, after COVID, you have online counseling, and there is telemedicine is becoming a big thing. So that helps. Maybe anonymity of not going to a psychiatrist or a counselor and talking one-on-one basis, maybe that anonymity of being in your house and talking, that may help some people. So one is awareness, like be aware of how you are feeling and what you are feeling rather than pushing it away and thinking, no, this is a phase and this is fine and things will be okay kind of thing. Second is verbalizing it, talking it with not just your friends, but seeking professional help, which could be online or in person, depending upon what is comfortable for you. And seeking help. Seeking help. And for society, it's like having that open-mindedness that if somebody is telling you that I need help, I feel overwhelmed, I feel upset, I feel weepy, then hear the person out. And whatever you can do to support them, do that and help them to find a professional help and make sure that they can get some what do you call, whatever is needed for that issue that they are facing, which could be meditation, which could be yoga, which could be counseling, medication, whatever works for them. They have access to those treatment options.
Yeah, absolutely. And you kind of touched on it in what we can do in society is be there for our friends and be there for our people and show that support. Is there anything else that you think that all of us can do on an everyday or regular level in order for this destigmatization of mental health to take place?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, you need to have open mind. So if somebody comes to you and says that I need to talk to you, and we always have, like nowadays we have become again very busy, and it's always important to find that 5 minutes for that person who's coming to you and telling you that I need to talk to you about something, or I need help about some mental health issues that I'm having. uh, you need to appreciate the fact that that person has one awareness about his or her mental health. Second, they have the courage to come up to somebody and tell them that I need help, or I want to talk about things that I'm feeling. Uh, Hear them out and help them as much as you can. Similarly, as I said, if you feel something like that, verbalize it. And as a group, we can start talking to our kids, we can start talking to other people that somebody having a temporary mental health issue or long-term mental health issue doesn't mean that that person is crazy. That means that that person is feeling overwhelmed with whatever is going on in their life, and they need some support which will help them to get out of that phase. As I said, I have gone through some of the phases where I needed that help. I sought help and I was able to overcome. I did not need medication till now, but when I needed medication, I was open to it and I started it. So having that openness, taking medication doesn't mean that you are crazy and you'll have to take it all your life, and there is a stamping of, or stigma attached to it. So those kind of things you have to understand about yourselves also, and have openness about others also.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And I hope everyone else out there is as inspired as I am about not only by your credentials, but also your experience through motherhood and your journey through mental health, and you sharing that and having a voice with us today. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, thank you. I think I've talked too much.
No, not at all. Not at all. You have so many things to share and it's all very valuable. So thank you for joining us today, Dr. Kranti. And I'm so inspired by you and your journey. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for asking me. And it was nice chatting with you.
It was wonderful having you here.